Hello everybody and welcome. This is Remember Me. Set in the futuristic surveillance state of Neo-Paris, Remember Me tracks the life of a rebel, Nilin, who is both able to steal and remix the memories of her enemies to get through objectives. She is able to use this ability to control her life and sometimes encourage the immediate death of these enemies by adjusting their reality to believe that terrible things have gone on. In some instances, this allows you to make characters change their hostility towards you and your rebellious efforts. In other instances, it gives you the opportunity to flat out murder them via their brain, because their memories now tell them that they should commit suicide. If not for the interaction between Nilin and the other rebels, this might seem horrific, but you quickly appreciate how necessary it is that the company behind all of this, Memorize, is taken down. I'm only a couple of hours into the game, and I didn't want to post any spoilers, so anything I mention shouldn't give away the plot too much, and there's plenty for you to discover by yourself. Starting out, my first impressions were, it feels a lot like Joss Whedon's Dollhouse with the whole controlling memories thing. The Sen technology allows the people in the game to take on happy memories and to share their own, in quite a sort of weird surveillance state kind of way. In another way, the memories seem to be the currency and the drug of the city, and it's responsible for everything that goes on inside the game. Transferring memories also seem to have medicinal properties as a sort of mental stamina for patients, which you quickly realise when you meet your first target. People want more happy memories though, but some are left overwhelmed as wrecks known as leapers. They look a bit like Gollum as he sneaks around trying to get precious other bodies. You'll know what I mean if you've played the game. From the outset, it's clear that the entire city has gone to mush. Paris is considered quite a glamorous city, and yet it's obvious that they'd be willing to scrap everything just to fuel their binge on tech. Even the Arc de Triomphe is desecrated just to make room for slums. I'll start by saying that I'm not really a fan of fighting games, they're just not my thing. Remember Me does have a fair helping of combat, but the mechanics are simple enough, and it does introduce some interesting methods of attacking. The memories of your enemies are extracted through combat, and this is basically your combat score. The fighting parts are pretty standard, but it does feel a lot like Batman and Arkham Asylum. I guess those are probably the only fighting games I have played, so, you know. You can use these combat points to level up and unlock new combo abilities, and these new attacks allow you to deal extra damage, regain health, or charge up attacks. I like how you can direct your attacks to affect how your character does in the game, so if you need extra health in a fight, you can knock out some combos which improve your health. If you just want to destroy them, well, you can do that too. As your combos increase, the music in the game actually improves around you and gives you some futuristic techno sounds. It's a good way to keep track of your score, especially if, like me, you're not that great at fighting games and you don't want to be staring at the numbers all the time. The entire game is based around programming, which is something I'm even worse at than fighting games. But I know enough that it's amusing to see some slightly cheesy references. From the very start, you can pick things like Script Kiddie for difficulty level, which I'll mention I didn't, I picked one of the harder ones. But you can also meet characters such as Bad Request. It's amusing if you're into programming, but a fun incorporation for those who aren't. I guess if your brains were being programmed and wiped, you probably wouldn't have the chance to remember that their names were gimmicky. Around the city, you can see lots of overlays and augmented reality. I guess it's like the future of Google Glass and running around with those all day. You can see shop titles and adverts all over the place, and it gives it a kind of cool futuristic feel. You can also see caches which are left behind by the other rebels, known as the Errorists, and they pop up as hacked terminals across the city. Errorists. Throughout the game, you're being directed by a character known as Edge. Ever since Bioshock, I've been hesitant to follow anyone who I can only hear via radio, but I haven't been screwed over yet, so he seems trustworthy enough. He's basically the leader of the rebellion, and he needs your powers as a hacker to take down the corporation. I said it reminded me of Dollhouse, but it does have a few Firefly qualities too. The Leapers aren't as bad as Reavers, but there's that clear separation between the very rich and the very poor, and the necessity to get by however possible. The semi-futuristic slums and outskirts of the city make it look like a city from Fallout, just, well, without the nuclear holocaust. Overall, I've been really enjoying the game. The style of gameplay is a mix between free running, stealth, and a bit of, down and dirty fighting. I'd say it's somewhere between Assassin's Creed, Mirror's Edge, iRobot, a mix of your favourite sci-fis, Fallout, and perhaps a little bit of Hitman as you do some sneaking on the side. It's taken about 45 minutes to an hour to get past the introduction, but it guides you well into the game. It's not a sandbox, although there are different paths you can explore, especially when unlocking the caches. It can be a bit fiddly to get used to some of the mechanics though. I've had a few problems jumping around the ledges and plummeting to my death. You can follow the arrows, which show you where free running and climbing is possible, but it's not always obvious where you're heading to next. Overall, I think it's a pretty decent game, and it combines a lot of fun elements from many genres. It's not really hardcore in any one particular genre though, so I don't think you'll be getting much of a challenge from it. It's definitely worth a playthrough though, and the achievements or trophies from it are kind of friendly, which is great if you don't feel like investing too many hours in the game. So there you have it. That is my kind of brief review introduction of Remember Me. So thanks for watching. Please rate, comment and subscribe if you'd be so kind, and see you soon.